What is up, guys? Welcome back. I know it's been a while. I haven't been, posting. All I wanted to say, I'm busy, but just didn't feel like posting anymore. And I'm doing this in the car because my house is a bit messy, noisy, and whatnot. Anyways, as you saw the title, Plab 2 experience and tips as well. Grab yourself popcorns or whatever you like to snack on and sit down and enjoy me infiltrating your ears and probably causing you harm.
What did he say?
Anyways, so all right, Plab 2. I wrote it last year, October, November, in between those 2 months. I don't remember the exact date. It was good, alhamdulillah. I passed it. If you're wondering, did I use an academy or not? I did use an academy. I joined the common stations here, by Dr. Ahmed in London. Extremely amazing experience. The whole course is streamlined. He's very one-on-one. And one thing I really love about him, compared to what I've heard from other academies, is the fact that he teaches himself and he is a very engaging teacher. But this is not an endorsement for him. I'm just telling you for what I experienced. The exam itself. You all know 3 parts. Data gathering, interpersonal skills, and clinical management skills. 4 marks each, total of 12 marks. You need to pass at least 10 stations in total, minimum, and you need to pass the cutoff mark, which I cannot tell you because every exam day has a different cutoff mark. So it's sort of how the Plab 1 is marked, the average, and then they make a sort of a graph and whatnot. So these 2 are very essential. You can't pass, it's not that if you pass 15 stations and then you think even if you have 1 less mark than the cutoff mark, you still pass. No. You have to, and trust me, there are people who pass 12, 13 stations and still don't get the cutoff mark. So these 2 are extremely important. Now, in terms of IELTs validity, this is something everyone asks. It doesn't need to be valid for Plab 2. Only needs to be valid for Plab 1. And if it has expired for you, still do your Plab 2, but then just be ready that you're going to have to write it for GM's registration. I know people ask, what about IELTs validity in terms of, GM's registration? They did some changes. If it's more than 3 years, please don't waste your time. There are people telling you that even if it's more than 3 years, but you have recently written Plab 2, you can still apply. No, you cannot. I had the same issue literally after my Plab 2. Just passed, it was a few days after Plab 2, but my IELTs had passed 3 years. They didn't care. They were like, you have to do it again. And I had to do it again, the IELTS. So if it is under 3 years and you have passed Plab 2 recently, yeah, okay. But if it's past the 3 years, please don't waste your time, because that will be like 2-3 weeks, of waiting, GMC replying and whatnot. And you could have even probably booked an IELTS exam and passed it and just applied for GM's registration. So don't do that. Now coming to the exam itself. Give yourself at least 1 to 1.5 months time between when you have joined finished academy lectures or course and the exam. Why you needed to practice. If you are not joining but you still got in the materials, you use 2-3 weeks to go through the materials, but at least minimum of 1 to 1.5 months to practice. You don't want to write this exam again. It's 800 plus pounds, bro. If you have the money to risk it, yeah, good for you. But not everyone is in the same shoes, and just better to get rid of it once and for all. In terms of practicing, find yourself partners to practice with. It's very important. So I'm going to say something very redundant as well. As I just said, find yourself partners. Do not find yourself too many partners. Too many partners will give too diverse opinions, will give you too many different opinions, will confuse you, will probably even discourage you and, break your confidence, because one person says it's okay, another person says okay, other person says no, maybe tweak it a little bit, third person says. So find yourself in certain number of people who you understand, each other, maybe also have the same time frame of when the exam is coming, the same goals, the same pace, and that will be better. You can tell them to act differently in different stations, or how you practice, but too many opinions. It's just like life itself, keep the circle minimum, not like 1 or 2 people, but I think you get my point. Another very important thing, and this is probably one of the most important tip I'm going to give you. Please and please do not memorize a script. Whatever happens, do not memorize a script. And even if you're not memorizing, do not hope that the station will go as the script that you have been given, you have acquired from either any academy or from friends. It will never go. Sometimes the patients do ask the same questions. Sometimes they don't ask the same questions. Sometimes they don't even ask questions at all. If you follow the script, either memorize it, you have memorized it, or you have, mentally just put yourself in a place where, you're following the script in your head, even in the exam, and the patient does not ask you anything else, bro, you're not going to say as well, because you've sort of honed your mind to only answer when you're asked to answer. If you don't hone your mind to even speak, when I'm talking about each section in a minute, you'll understand why I'm saying that. So please do not memorize it. This is coming from someone who just written the exam. Please and please do not memorize it. It's a freaking waste of time. I don't know, the people who advise others to memorize it are just generally just wasting your time. You have been doing this every day. You're all doctors, you have passed the scariest thing in med school. Now you just have to, ask a bunch of questions which you have been trained to ask, Socrates or Pidara and whatnot. Connecting to the point earlier about not memorizing, you can know your IPS level when you start practicing. IPS level is important, yes. A lot of people mess up, and some people are naturally good at talking as well. Communication comes naturally to some and does not come naturally to others. So you can, that's why practice is important. You can train yourself. Remember, it's just for that day. Just create a persona, or sort of practice in a way where it becomes normal to you. In terms of data gathering, what you need to practice the most probably is what you don't need to ask. Sometimes we ask too many questions, and then there's so little time for management, and that's what happens the most of the time. You ask so many questions, you don't have enough time for explaining the management and the diagnosis and whatnot. So practice in a way where you hone down or you understand, do I need to ask? There are some stations you will never need to ask sexual history. I know in the script there will be sexual history, but then in your mind, like, do I really need to ask sexual history? Like, if pain is radiating to the jaw or the left jaw, you already know in your head what is happening. So save yourself time from asking questions that do not help you in any way. I think that's the best answer I can give you. Do not ask questions which will not help you in your diagnosis, because you're wasting your time. That is the best way for me to tell you. That's why practice, train yourself. Okay, I'm thinking this is it, so I'll probably ask this. I'm thinking this is it, I'll probably ask this. Remember that. Please and please remember that. Because you only have highest 5 minutes to waste on history taking, and that is for normal stations. Some stations are combined stations where you have to actually do clinical examination as well. You wouldn't even have enough time to do history, and then you have to explain what is happening in diagnosis. So please and please. Last and but not the least, management. People mess up in management. Why? As I said earlier, sometimes they practice in such a way that if the patient doesn't ask you something, you don't explain or you don't tell them the management, because you have honed yourself in such a way where if that question doesn't alert your mind to even say anything. So sometimes the patient will not ask you anything. If you tell them, or you ask them history questions, and you even give them the differentials or even the diagnosis that you have made, they'll just keep quiet. Then you have to, prompt up the answers, like, do you want me to tell you what it's about, or what's going to happen next? And then they'll be like, yeah, sure. So that's why I said practice in a way where it's natural. Tell your partners or colleagues to act differently. Do not go always. Do not put your head in a way where the script is what's going to happen the day of the exam, because I promise you, sorry, it will not happen the same way. Yes, cases do repeat themselves, but do not let me tell you something. Those are professional actors. They're not doctors, or they are professional actors. They know what to do. They know what not to do. This is very important. Management is very important. Try to understand everything. Update yourself with nice guidelines. Follow whatever they want. Always let them know. Another point. Some people ask, is differential diagnosis very important to tell the patient? Yes, the examiner needs to hear that. Now, two scenarios. If one, you already know the diagnosis, you're 100%. So chest pain, I'm using chest pain because it's the easiest one. And yes, it does come out a lot. You already know what is it, right? So you just tell the patient, I think, the symptoms what you're going through could be because, you just had a MI, or, those are symptoms or classical symptoms of MI. You don't need to do differentials. If you do not know, it is also okay to say, I don't know what's going on. And just tell the patient, I'm really sorry. And thank you for answering my questions, and I'm really sorry, but I'm not exactly sure what is going on right now. But there are some certain diseases and illnesses that could cause it. And then you list them out. You get a point. We don't know everything. You and me, yes. Even in normal scenarios, when the patient comes in, you always need extra investigations, and you have to do extra things to find out what's going on. So it's normal. Then you just list out, what you're going to do next. The investigations. You're going to do blood result. Do blood workup. You might do an X-ray. You might do troponin test as well. You might do an ECG. Blah blah blah, and then explain further. If you're going to be admitted, not admitted. Like I said, the script is there to tell you what is sort of like a reminder. You've already read through what is happening. We did it in med school. It's just sort of aligned to you what is happening and how you should say it. But like I said, I think I've said it so many times right now. Please do not memorize it. It's a genuine beg. Stop listening to those weirdos who tell you to memorize. It's not a good idea. You'll be more confident if you don't memorize it and you already understand it and you know what you're going to do in the station. Because if you memorize it, memorizing things, from my experiences, if you forget a little part, you just forget everything. Everything just. All right, it's getting a bit long, but probably my last thing. From the moment you start practicing, practice with time. Forget about the fact that you cannot finish the station at one go when you're practicing, or maybe you have even left the whole management. No, this will start, sort of refining your management skills, time management skills from the get-go. You understand, should I speed up? Do I talk? Do I slow down? Do I do this? Do I add this? When do I do this? It's natural for you to start, becoming better at something when from the first moment you put yourself in an examination sort of, model. So I think that's why it's very important. 8 minutes. I personally, first few weeks I did 8 minutes, then I started even going 7 minutes to make myself even much better, to sort of summarize and filter out nonsense that I didn't need to ask. So this is getting a very long video. I hope this was helpful. If you want a much more detail as well, let me know down in the comment section. Also, if you're looking for partners and you can't find partners, comment down below. Someone else comment as well. You guys can partner up and practice together. Hopefully this could be a location to find partners to practice with. If you have any other question, or you can DM me on my Instagram, or you can just comment down below and let me know. And I'll probably make some videos about applying for jobs, clinical attachment here in the UK as well, how you apply for it as well, because a lot of people are looking for it and don't find one. That's because I feel like people don't know how to actually apply for it. Same goes for jobs. So let me know down in the comment section if you want these videos, and hopefully this was helpful. I apologize if it's too long, and I just know you've been ranting and seeing my face, but trust me, I don't even want to see my face as well sometimes. But anyways, give it a thumbs up, do subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.